Almost there, careful now.
Part 1, 2:13 a.m. Nursery, glass walls holding in the city's frost-white noise. A ceiling camera's red dot blinks. The Billionaire's twins, Leo and Mila, are balanced in soft cloth slings under a full-length mirror. A woman in a gray sweater holds them by the heels and arches, counting under her breath, not whispering, just steady. The floor is bare except for a mat and a folded newspaper under a mug. Adrian Vale pushes the nursery door. The magnetic latch gives with a tap. Security is behind him. He waits 2 beats and steps in. The air smells like eucalyptus balm and the faint clean of rubbed alcohol. Adrian, what are you doing? Lila, midline alignment and positive weight. Their feet need a map. Security stands in the doorway. The red camera dot records a man in an executive shirt, sleeves rolled to the forearms, watching a nanny cradle his children's arches with the inside of her thumbs. No one raises their voice. Adrian, at 2 in the morning, Lila shifts, rewraps the sling, places Leo's toes on the mat's tape line. On the mirror, a strip of painter's tape marks hips, knees, ankles. Lila. They're most receptive when it's quiet. Their reflexes are loud during the day, like a car alarm you can't find. Adrian. They're 18 months old and they still can't walk. And you are tying them up in the dark. Lila. Not tying, stabilizing. Look at their toes. Watch. There, the extension. See that? A small toe flares like a tiny wave. It happens in the mirror. It is ordinary and not ordinary. Adrian looks from the toe to Lila's hands, to the cloth looped to a hook in the ceiling beam, installed by contractors when the penthouse was renovated 6 months earlier. The calluses along her index finger appear, the kind born of repetition. Adrian. These setups were not in the job description. Lila. The job description says care. It did not forbid this. Security shifts. He knows the screenshot will look bad. Slings at night, a nanny, toddlers. Adrian nods once. The twins reach toward the mirror. Lila. They are talking to their feet. They need the mirror to listen back. Adrian. End this tonight. We'll discuss in the morning. Lila lifts the twins out of the slings, sets them on the mat. They sag at the ankles. Their eyes are wide awake. She picks up a thin notebook from the floor. It is bound with elastic, with labels and tabs. Lila. I need 10 minutes to show you something first. Adrian. It's 2 a.m. Lila slides the notebook toward him anyway. The first page is a grid with dates and symbols. Sun, cloud, drop. Under it, a printed photo of a floor adhesive can, brand tape across its dented side. Next to it, small envelopes, each with a date, each holding a pinch of gray dust. Lila. According to these notes and to observations I recorded daily, their tone dropped after the renovation, the one that replaced the carpeting with engineered wood. The adhesives, the sealants. I kept samples. I saw the crew leave empty containers in the service corridor. Your children's legs went from wobble to jelly over 3 weeks. Adrian. We pay for the best air filters money can buy. Lila. Money buys many things, air forgets. Silence. The city breathes through windows the size of a billboard. The twins lay their palms on the mat and slap, enjoying the sound. Adrian. Leave the room, go downstairs, wait there. Do not touch them until I decide what to do. Lila. Understood. She leans toward the twins, her hands hovering above their backs, and stops short of contact. She looks at Adrian and nods once. Then she goes. The camera's red dot keeps blinking. On the mat, the painter's tape line holds the patient geometry of a plan. Like and subscribe for more stories that challenge prejudice and celebrate courage. Part 2, 9:07 a.m., kitchen, white counters like a lab bench. A pediatric growth chart is clipped to the fridge door, magnets shaped like cartoon strawberries, a pot of oatmeal cools. The twins push peas across a tray, their fingers working but unsure of grip strength. The penthouse hums with the sound of filters and distant traffic. HR has arrived. A woman in a navy suit with a badge that reads Corporate Family Services sits with a tablet. Adrian's assistant places 2 coffees between them. Lila stands by the window, hands clasped. She has a cloth bag with her notebook and small envelopes of dust. Her hair is pulled back tight. HR. Mr. Vale, so our policy requires we review any deviation from standard childcare protocols. Overnight therapy without parental consent qualifies. Adrian. I saw a harness hooked into my ceiling. The cameras are not for improvisations. Lila. The harness is a fabric sling you already owned. It's for baby wearing. I repurposed it as a static support. There was no load bearing beyond their body weight, and I was hands-on at all times. You can watch the footage. HR. The footage will be reviewed. Lila, any certifications relevant to physical therapy? Lila. Bachelor's in physical therapy from a university in Manila. I worked 2 years in a pediatric clinic before moving here. I cannot practice as a physical therapist in New York without new licensing. I know the boundaries. I kept notes. I asked for an occupational therapist. Consult 3 times. The requests are in your portal. HR. I see 1 request, 2 were not approved. Adrian. Why? HR. It says insurance coverage questions and scheduling constraints. Lila lifts the notebook. She opens to a page labeled Day 35. Photographs of the twins' feet printed and taped. Arches look flattened. Ankles roll. Lila. According to a public guidance from the American Academy of Pediatrics, red flags include persistent hypotonia, not bearing weight, feet dropping when stepping. Over the past 6 weeks, I recorded daily signs. I also recorded odors during and after the renovation. The contractor discarded these. I retrieved them from the service corridor. She places the printed photo of the adhesive can on the counter. Brand name, Vireo Shield Floor Seal V3. In another photo, a roll of foam underlayment with a label listing halogenated flame retardants. Lila. Based on the manufacturer's own safety sheet, these compounds are neurotoxic at certain exposures, especially in infants. The sheet was updated this year after your floors were sealed. The same product line is part of your holdings. HR. Lila, be careful with accusations. Lila, I am careful with babies. The twins squeal. One slaps the tray, delighted with the sound. Adrian watches his daughter's toes splay, not a symptom in itself, but paired with other signs, it reads as a question. Adrian, we'll bring in a specialist. Today, an air sampling. I want numbers, not anecdotes. Lila, numbers, yes, but also bodies. Their bodies are telling you something. HR saves a spurt of typing to the cloud. The assistant is already on the phone with a concierge pediatric neurologist. Part 3, 4:40 p.m., clinic hallway, framed photos of sailboats in calm seas. The neurologist's name reads gold on a frosted door. The twins are in a double stroller, leaning heavy against the straps. Their shoes are unworn on the soles. Clinic coordinator, doctor's running a little behind. Adrian's phone buzzes. Board chat. PR wants to be looped in if any outside referrals mention brand names. The company is mid-quarter. He puts the phone face down. Lila holds out a small bag of envelopes, each sealed with clear tape, dates in blue ink. Lila, dust from the nursery, living room, hallway, and service corridor, collected with clean gauze, kept away from light. Adrian, you planned this. Lila, I hope for nothing of this I plan, so I do not leave it to hope. A maintenance elevator opens down the hall. A building porter pushes a cart with the faint chemical ghost of fresh lacquer. He pulls a cap low on his forehead, nods to the stroller. Porter, cute. They look like my nephew's twins. We just did a floor on the 30th. Strong stuff. Lila, what brand? Porter, green something. Green Shield. Had to leave the can by the service bin because the recycling cage was full. Smelled like apples the first hour, then something else. He wheels the cart past. Lila notes the time next to the word apples. Inside the exam room, the neurologist reviews reflexes. A metal hammer taps. Toes flex. The doctor watches. Neutral face, neutral voice. Neurologist, tone is low. Deep tendon reflexes are present but minimal. Could be benign developmental delay. Could be something peripheral. I recommend electromyography and nerve conduction studies. Adrian, schedule them. Neurologist, my clinic is booking 3 weeks out. We can try to expedite. Lila, County Hospital has a neurophysiology lab with next day slots for pediatrics if you walk in before 7 a.m. I called to check. It's first come, first served. The neurologist glances at Lila. He does not comment on a nanny knowing a county lab schedule. Neurologist, you can go. If results show abnormal conduction, we look for exposures and metabolic causes. As they leave, Lila folds the after-visit summary and adds it to her notebook. The header states, Peripheral Neuropathy Evaluation. Part 4. Before dawn, County Hospital, a different architecture. Fluorescent lights buzz, hallways smell like disinfectant and coffee. The chairs are metal, the walls a color that was meant to be soothing when it was selected. A tech in navy scrubs places tiny electrodes on Leo's legs. He murmurs each step into a recorder. He speaks to the twins as if they are colleagues. Tech, mild slowing here. Distal latency a bit long, nothing catastrophic, consistent with mild peripheral involvement. He writes numbers. The printouts roll out of a machine with a strip chart hiss. The attending signs at the bottom, stamp crooked. Attending. Based on these, mild peripheral neuropathy. You can consult environmental health for possible exposures. Also physical therapy. Adrian, we will, thank you. Lila watches the tech peel off electrodes like small moons. The twins' skin blanches and then pinks. She marks a check next to a line that reads EMG confirms. On the sidewalk, morning trucks grind past. A city worker lifts a manhole cover with a clang. The gray air smells like heat rising from iron. Adrian, you know people here. Lila, I know systems. The county is where systems show themselves. A nurse told me once, if you want a yes, go where yes is not a commodity. They stand at a corner. A bus rumbles. A child looks out the window at the twins and waves. Leo blinks back like a slow shutter. Part 5. The office of the billionaire is a box inside glass inside air. 3 screens, 2 phones, 1 framed photo of the twins with applesauce on their faces. He calls facilities. He calls product safety. He calls legal. He calls PR. He calls no one he does not instruct. According to internal documents, he pulls from a password-protected repository. The product line Vireo Shield underwent reformulation 2 years ago to meet market demand for faster off-gassing and greener marketing claims. A memo dated 5 months back notes a substitution of a plasticizer with an organophosphate-based additive to improve cure time. A test report attached in a subfolder, flagged red by an engineer named S. Patel warns of potential neurotoxicity in infants and toddlers at dust concentrations seen in poorly ventilated installations. Legal's response, next in the thread, states language was adjusted in the safety data sheet to emphasize proper ventilation and to remove mention of organophosphates by name, replacing it with a generic term. Facilities manager's email. All installations in the executive building used Vireo Shield V3 in the last quarter due to supply chain constraints. PR's note. Avoid alarming terms in external communications. We maintain compliance with existing guidelines. Adrian scrolls until the mouse wheel squeaks. He prints the engineer's warning and holds the still warm page by its corners. He reads the line that matters twice. Engineer's line. Infant exposure, risk non-trivial. Recommend temporary relocation for households with children under 2 during the first 60 days, post-application. Recommend HEPA vacuum and wet wiping protocol. Avoid dry dusting. He looks up. The wall is glass. The city beyond is glass. He can see the building where his children sleep and where the adhesive hardened under their feet. Part 6. Afternoon. Penthouse corridor. Soft carpet. Hard decisions. HR and legal stand in a half circle. The nanny stands in the part that is almost a corner. Legal. Ms. Santos, we have reviewed last night's footage. While intent is not in question, deviation from policy is we will be placing you on leave pending investigation. You will not enter the nursery until further notice. Lila. Understood. HR. We will also need your notes for our records. Lila holds the notebook. She weighs it as if it has mass beyond paper and colored tabs. She does not hand it over. Lila. I will provide copies of anything pertaining to the children's care. I will keep my personal medical notes and environmental observations unless I am compelled by law, which I am not today. Legal. You are an employee. Work product. Adrian. Enough. HR and legal. Look at him. He is their employer. He is also a father who has just read a line from, again, a young engineer warning him about his own product. Adrian. Miss Santos, take a taxi to a hotel on 58th. My assistant will text you the address. Do not speak to anyone from the company until I send a message. Keep your notebook. Keep your samples. No more night sessions until we clarify safety. But do not leave the city. Lila. I do not plan to. She glances at the twins. They are in their playpen with blocks arranged in deliberate stacks. She opens her palm toward them without touching the air and closes it again as if she's folding something invisible. Night. Adrian sits at his home office. He replays the footage from 2:13 a.m. The red dot blinks. Lila's hands cradle his children's heels. He watches frame by frame. He notices what he missed, the way she turns their wrists to stimulate palm pressure, the way she hums the same 8 notes under her breath, the way the twins' faces calm as if someone is speaking their language. He sends a message to Lila, 3 words, meet me tomorrow. Part 7. A different apartment, smaller, older, air that smells like cedar and dust baked by sunlight. The brownstone belonged to Adrian's grandmother. He never sold it. He has not stepped inside in years. No renovation adhesives here. Wood that has already lived its off-gassing. Lila arrives with a bag that has no brand. She unpacks equipment that is nothing like equipment but works like it. Scarves, a yoga block, a mirror with suction cups, painter's tape, a tiny bottle of eucalyptus oil, a roll of latex bands, a metronome on a phone. Lila. Schedule. Mornings and evenings. Intervals at 10 minutes. Pressure at arches. Deep pressure on shoulders. Crawling across textured mats. No baby walkers. Bare feet. HEPA vacuum every day. Wet mop, not dry dust. Windows open if weather allows. This is not cure. This is work. Adrian nods. He does what she asks. He opens windows that stick. He vacuums slowly. He learns a movement that looks ridiculous on a billionaire. All fours, demonstrating crawling for his children, tapping the opposite knee and hand. The twins watch. Their eyes track. They laugh for the first time in days like water hitting pan. An environmental consultant meets them at the penthouse later with equipment and cases. She is young, hair clipped back, calm voice like a public radio anchor. She sets up pumps and sorbent tubes. She calibrates in front of them. She logs sample IDs with a Sharpie. Consultant. We will sample for organophosphates, phthalates, flame retardants, and formaldehyde. I will also take a wipe sample from the nursery floor and baseboards. She removes a white cloth from a sterile pouch and swipes the baseboard. She seals the wipe in a vial and writes date and time in careful letters. Consultant, numbers in a week. Rush service if you want to spend more. Your lab request says rush. Adrian, yes, rush. She nods, clicks her pen, packs the case. Part 8. Witnesses have statements if someone listens. A union janitor speaks in a building service room, smelling of bleach and wet mops. Janitor, after the floors, my eyes burned for 2 days. I told my supervisor. He said, open a window. We don't have windows in the service hallway. A contractor who installed flooring in 3 apartments in the building says he was told the product was green because the brochure had leaves on it and smelled like apples when you first put it down. Contractor, that apple smell is masking. You know that, right? Makes everyone think it's safe. Then it settles and you get the real stuff. Phone calls leave a new trail. The engineer S. Patel answers from a quiet room with a fan noise. Engineer, I escalated concerns. I recommended a temporary age warning and a ventilation requirement. Legal said we complied by listing ventilation and that naming organophosphates would alarm customers without regulatory requirement. We had a plan to phase in a different additive next quarter. Adrian, I am the customer now. Engineer, yes, sir. Based on lab results delivered with a courier at 8:10 a.m., organophosphate residues are present in dust. The lab sheet reads tris-2-chloroethyl phosphate at levels above background in 2 of 4 samples from the nursery. The air sampling shows elevated total volatile organic compounds after mechanical disturbance. Consultant, these are not criminal numbers, but they are numbers in the wrong place. I don't say this for headlines. I say it because small bodies with developing systems are different. I would not keep my own toddler in that room for a month. Adrian stands at the window. He sees his reflection pale over the city. He calls a board meeting. Part 9. Boardroom, glass, steel, water pitchers, agendas printed, and 3 holes punched. Legal sits with tabs in 5 colors. PR has a media plan on a screen. Everyone is precise. Adrian, we are recalling Vireo Shield V3 and any products with the same additives. Effective today. We are funding relocation for families with infants and toddlers in buildings where it was applied in the last 60 days. We are sending certified cleaning crews and providing medical consultations. CFO, cost for recall and remediation is significant. Stock will react. Adrian, stock can react to integrity. It will adjust. Legal, we are not obliged to issue a recall. We met current standards. Adrian, standards are lowest acceptable. We are not lowest. PR, messaging, voluntary safety action, commitment to families, partnering with environmental health experts. Adrian, messaging, we listened to a nanny when we didn't listen to an engineer. Say it plain. There is a pause. PR types, then erases. He types again. Adrian continues. We will recognize Lila Santos for her diligence. We will not discipline her. We will enroll her in a pathway for credential recognition if she wants it. We will sponsor OT sessions. We will release the engineer's memo with consent and redact nothing but private names. Legal, that invites litigation. Adrian, consider this a settlement with the truth. There is no applause in boardrooms. There are notes and sighs and the sound of water poured into glass. Part 10. Spring light catches dust, makes it visible. Brownstone living room. The mat is still there. The painter's tape has been replaced with new tape, the lines straight and calm. Lila, ready, arches awake, hips in, hands down first. The twins are barefoot. Their toes spread and grip the mat like small, pale sea creatures learning tide. The metronome ticks. Lila's hands hover. Adrian kneels on the mat, suit jacket on the chair, tie not present. He holds his hands out like a small fence. Leo pulls to stand by the low ottoman. Mila takes 2 exaggerated marching steps, then leans. She does not fall. She adjusts. A new thing. Then a low, confident slide of the foot that is a step, and then another. No one cheers loudly. The room holds the sound the way museums hold air. Lila says it for the camera, because the camera needs words. Lila, record 1, independent steps with support nearby. Duration 9 seconds. Adrian breathes out in a way that sounds like he has been holding a lungful for months and can finally return it to the room. He looks at Lila, and he does not look away. His voice is soft like paper rubbed thin. Adrian, thank you. Lila, listen to mothers, helpers, janitors, porters, engineers, anyone whose hands are on the problem. They see it first. Weeks later, a press conference. Microphones lined like a flock of small, black birds, the company logo behind him. He faces cameras and says what he practiced. He uses words like recall, remediation fund, independent oversight. He says Nanny by name. According to public documents filed that day, the company allocated funds to an environmental health trust overseen by a board that includes a pediatrician, an environmental justice advocate, and a building service worker. The recall notice includes the line from S. Patel's memo. The safety sheet names the additive plainly. By summer, the penthouse nursery has new floors installed by a crew in masks with cross-ventilation and an air quality clearance test pinned on the wall like art. Lila's note in her notebook reads, "No chemical smell after 4 hours, no headache after mopping, twins naps normal." A personal reflection pulls up like a tide. At the end of the day, it is not framed, it just appears in the room between 3 people. Adrian, money bought me a view, you gave me a floor to stand on. Lila, they gave themselves feet, we just cleared the path. This story remains anchored in the simple facts anyone can see. A toe flexing in a mirror, a child adjusting weight, a piece of paper with a warning line someone wrote months before. Moral inversion is not magic. It is a door opening when someone finally decides to turn the handle. A last line hangs there, not owned by anyone, but spoken aloud because it settles the posture of the room. Sometimes the smallest feet leave the deepest prints on a conscience. Like and subscribe for more stories that challenge prejudice and celebrate courage.